In the 2018 draft, 32 players were selected before Jalen Brunson. Point guards, wings, big man, players with more upside, more athleticism, and more measurables. Players the league decided were simply better prospects. Most of them are out the league now. Jalen Brunson, he's playing in the NBA Finals. This is not a story about a guy who got lucky, and this is not a story about being in the right place at the right time. This is a story about a system, scouts, analysts, front offices, the entire NBA evaluation machine that looked at Jalen Brunson at every single stage of his career and got him completely wrong. Every time, without fail. And every time they got him wrong, he made them pay for it. Let's go back to the beginning. Rick Brunson played 9 seasons in the NBA. A journeyman point guard who carved out a career through toughness and basketball IQ rather than raw ability. When his son, Jalen, started showing real promise on the court, the comparisons were immediate, and they were not flattering. A coach's son, a system player, a kid who benefited from having a father in the league. The kind of player who looks good in a controlled environment but disappears when the lights get bright enough. That was the narrative before Jalen Brunson had played a single college game. He arrived at Villanova in 2015 under Jay Wright, one of the most respected coaches in college basketball. And in his very first season, he won a national championship as a freshman, coming off the bench. Most people filed that away as a footnote. Right place, right time, good team, moving on. But then his sophomore year happened, and then his junior year happened, and by that time, Jalen Brunson won the Final Four Most Outstanding Player Award in 2018 and led Villanova to a second national championship in 3 years. Something interesting was occurring. The people who evaluated basketball players for a living still weren't sure about him. Too slow, too short, too reliant on the mid-range, no position in the modern NBA. The draft boards had him comfortably in the second round. Not a lottery pick, not even a late first-round certainty. A nice college player who won a lot because he played in a great system for a great coach. That was the consensus. On draft night 2018, Jalen Brunson sat and waited. Pick 25 came and went. Pick 30 came and went. The Dallas Mavericks finally called his name at 33, the second round. For a two-time national champion who just won the most prestigious individual award in college basketball, he walked across that stage with a smile on his face. If he was embarrassed, he didn't show it. If he was angry, he didn't show that either. He just went to work. Dallas was an interesting landing spot. The Mavericks had a 19-year-old Luka Doncic arriving the same night, a generational talent who was going to consume every resource and every spotlight the franchise had. Brunson's role was clear before he stepped in the building. Be solid, be professional, and stay out the way. A backup point guard on a rebuilding team built around someone else. That was the ceiling the league had assigned him. And for a while, it looked like they were right. His first 2 seasons were exactly what you expect from a second-round pick finding his footing. Solid minutes, decent numbers, nothing that made anyone reconsider anything. The narrative stayed the same. Good player, limited ceiling, a nice piece, but not a cornerstone. Then, the 2021-22 season happened. With Luka Doncic missing significant time, Brunson stepped into a starting role and averaged 16 points, 5 assists, and shot nearly 50% from the field. Not bad for someone whose ceiling had already been decided. But the real moment came in the playoffs. Dallas went on a run that shocked the entire league. They eliminated the Utah Jazz. They eliminated the Phoenix Suns, the best team in the NBA that year. And in the middle of all it was Jalen Brunson, playing like a different player entirely. In the first 2 rounds, he averaged 23 points per game. Against Phoenix, in a series where Dallas was supposed to get swept, he put up 24 points in a closeout game. On the road, under pressure, when it mattered most. People started paying attention. But here is where the story gets interesting. Because even after that playoff run, and even after those numbers, a significant portion of the league still wasn't sold. Dallas let him walk in free agency. Think about that for a moment. They watched him take their team deep in the playoffs. They watched him play at a genuine star level when given the opportunity, and they decided not to pay him. The Mavericks had Luka. They had their guy. Brunson was a complimentary piece who had a nice run. That was the evaluation. The New York Knicks disagreed. In the summer of 2022, the Knicks signed Jalen Brunson to a 4-year, $104 million contract. The reaction was immediate and it was brutal. $100 million for a backup point guard. $100 million for a guy without a single All-Star appearance. Sports radio had a field day. NBA Twitter had a field day. The Knicks were doing Knicks things again. Overpaying for a player who had one good postseason and one playoff run, propped up by a team with Luka Doncic. Take away Luka, and what do you actually have? That was the question everyone kept on asking. New York was about to answer it. In his first season as the clear franchise centerpiece, Brunson averaged 24 points and 6 assists per game. The Knicks won 47 games. They made the playoffs for the second time in 3 years, and the questions got a little quieter. Then, the 2023 playoffs happened, and Jalen Brunson became something else entirely. In the first round against the Cavs, Brunson averaged 25 points per game. In Game 5, with the series on the line, he scored 41 points. In MSG, in a must-win game, against a defense built specifically to stop him, 41 points. The building was shaking, and the city was locked in. And right there, in that moment, the last remaining argument against Jalen Brunson collapsed under the weight of what he was doing in real time. Here is what the numbers actually say about him now. Since arriving in New York, Brunson ranks in the top 10 in the entire league in points per game in the playoffs. He joins a very short list of players in NBA history to average over 25 points in multiple playoff runs without being considered a superstar entering a series. His player efficiency rating in clutch moments, games within 5 points in the final 5 minutes, places him alongside names that nobody would have predicted when he was sitting in the second round on draft night. The evaluation machine had pegged him as a 12-point backup, and the game said otherwise. And this is the thing about Jalen Brunson that gets lost in every conversation about him. It was never about the measurables, and it was never about the athleticism or the draft position or even the contract size. It was about one thing. Every time the ceiling was lowered, he walked right through it. And every time someone decided what he was, he became something more. College scouts said he was just a system player. He then went on to win 2 national championships and an MOP. Draft boards put him in the second round. He then outplayed first-round picks for 4 years straight. Dallas decided he was replaceable. He went to New York and replaced himself with a better version. The media said the contract was a disaster, and he turned it into one of the best value deals in the league. He's now playing in the NBA Finals, the same NBA Finals that 32 players drafted before him will be watching from home. The same NBA Finals that every analyst who called that contract a mistake is now covering from the press row. You want to know what Jalen Brunson was never supposed to be? He was never supposed to be this good. The ceiling they gave him was a floor he blew straight through. And he did it so quietly, so methodically, so completely without drama, that by the time everyone realized what had happened, he was already somewhere they never thought he could go. Some players beat the odds. Jalen Brunson didn't beat the odds. He just ignored them and kept playing basketball.